Final parsec problem. I just had a thought about it. I'm going to describe it. First, I will explain what it is. This is not a claim to a solution. So the final parsec refers to the distance between the two event horizons of two supermassive black holes, or any black hole, really. But there's a space where if each of the event horizons is like a well going down, you can think of the downness as that gravitational trap. The final parsec is the space in between these two wells. Okay, so if you got one well and another well, and they're bumping up against each other, there's going to be a spot where space-time curvature isn't like a lip between the two, but is more like squished up in this way, which means it requires negative energy or negative mass to occupy this space. And so they push up against each other and they orbit. Now this is in 3 dimensions though, not 2. That's 2-dimensional, using the little down as gravity well. The opposite, it's like repulsion. Okay, so it's an anti-gravity source between these 2 points, and they're stuck locked in. So what you have is these 2 objects orbiting each other as fast as they possibly can, because conservation of momentum. They are just and they're trying to push in, and they're pressuring in on this spot, but all that it is that's there is space-time. Everything else will be thermonucleized and turned into micro black holes, but there's a repulsory area between the two because of the shape of the curvature of space in such a thing. And science has yet to understand or explain how they overcome it. So that's the final parsec problem. 3 minutes to get to that. A Schwarzschild black hole is a non-rotating black hole. A Kerr black hole is a rotating black hole. Every black hole that we have ever encountered, as far as observation, theory, or anything that actually seems to exist seems to be a rotating one. It's like a static object is a theoretical idea, much the same as the electron is not the orbital. And it certainly isn't a little so in wondering how singularity could form a ring shape at the moment of it basically would be that the mass of each black hole would have to evaporate and the spin slow down and the orbital rotation finally give off. And possibly Hawking radiation is the only way that this would happen. That these would eventually all lower their energy to a point where that pinch in space-time is no longer a thing and can therefore be overcome. But that repulsion ceases because their masses are like equal and, low enough to a certain point or something. at least on a logical angle, it would possibly be something like that. Well, while they're spinning, in the meantime, you've got a point in the center that is almost like its own singularity, but it's like it's naked. It's not something that is inside an event horizon. And it's actually gravitationally the opposite of a black hole singularity. So that final parsec could end up being like a white hole in the center of the torus formed by the orbit of these two supermassives at nearly the speed of light, which the speed of light is also the speed of causality. So two things are not necessarily occupying the same space, but they are moving so fucking fast that as far as you can tell, it looks like one solid torus of black hole with something down in the center. Until that thing ceases to be, and then all of a sudden the thing moves in on itself and can become one, and at that point the two singularities are orbiting each other within each other's event horizons, and everything breaks loose. But for a moment, it would be a toroidal singularity caused by the merger of the two. And theoretically, such a thing is a wormhole as well. So, as far as like the theories of our universe existing within an event horizon, I think such a thing is where those two supermassives combine, is where a new microcosm is created. Because you have that moment of white hole and ring singularity and wormhole, and then slaughtery collapse. That's all I got.